Islamic finance has been misunderstood by many to be a religious product aimed at only Muslims. But that is not the case. Since the 2008 global financial crisis, Islamic finance has become an attractive segment of the financial market, promoting sustainable development and economic empowerment. Join me every Friday on the Islamic Finance Weekly at 11 a.m. West African time as we discuss Connect the Globe on Islamic finance and its benefits. It features experts, scholars, analysts, policymakers and regulators who provide insight on the capital market, banking, personal finance, Islamic insurance, financial literacy, waqf, halal, and all other aspects of finance and the economy. You don't want to miss it.
On behalf of the board and management team of Crochet and WebTV, I am delighted to welcome you to the Second Islamic Finance Webinar titled Islamic Finance and Insurance. The evolution of the Islamic insurance market in Nigeria since 2003 has witnessed remarkable growth and expansion in the development of ethical products and services. According to a report published by Allied Market Research, the global Takaful insurance market was $24.85 billion in 2020. It is also projected to generate $97.17 billion by 2030, witnessing a compound annual growth rate of 14.6% from 2021 to 2030. Also, in its analysis, S&P Global Ratings stated that the global Takaful industry would grow by 10% in 2021. From its recent report, the Islamic finance industry in Nigeria is in its early stages of development with considerable growth potential. At the moment, about 500 Takaful companies operate in 72 countries, ensuring risk and asset management in the Islamic banking and finance industry. In Nigeria, 4 Takaful companies are operating at the moment. The companies are Jais Takaful, Noor Takaful, Hilal Takaful, and Salam Takaful. Despite having 4 Takaful companies in Nigeria, there is still a need to deepen Islamic insurance penetration in the country. As part of efforts to broaden the conversation, this second Islamic Finance Webinar series will provide an avenue for the regulators, experts, operators, and insurance brokers to expand the discussion on the opportunities for leveraging Islamic insurance in Nigeria. To promote enlightenment and education in the market, WebTV in 2019 commenced its Islamic Finance Weekly program, the first and only dedicated non-interest finance online TV program in Nigeria to document the Nigerian non-interest financial market development. This webinar also serves as an avenue to enlighten corporate entities and investors about non-interest finance opportunities in the Islamic insurance system, providing their perspectives on the following topics: Islamic financial literacy and the insurance sector, investing through Islamic insurance products, opportunities for the growth of Takaful in sub-Saharan Africa, Takaful and Nigerians' quest to deepen its insurance penetration. To do justice to the various topics identified for this webinar is the keynote speaker for this event, Mr. Zubairu Sulaiman Darazo, Head Takaful Insurance Unit, National Insurance Commission, NAICOM, representing the Commissioner for Insurance. He will be speaking on Islamic finance, Nigerian insurance sector, and the opportunities for growth. It will also feature seasoned experts and analysts that will make presentations on key focus areas and address critical questions around the theme. We have Mrs. Thaibat Adeniran, Managing Director, Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd. We have Mr. Aminu Tukur, Vice Chairman, Noor Takaful Insurance Plc. Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, Insurance Expert and Management Consultant. We also have Mr. Momodou Musa Joof, Managing Director, West Africa Takaful Limited. For all participants, kindly note the following webinar guidelines. If your Zoom volume is too low, kindly check your system volume. The webinar is being recorded and live streamed on the WebTV YouTube channel. To comment and have discussion, use the chat icon. Submit your questions via the Q&A icon. Only this will be answered during the question and answer session. Also, this is to inform all our participants that there will be 2 giveaways of Takaful products worth 5,000 naira each. All you have to do to win this is to fill the form drop in the chat box now and wait till the end of this webinar to know if you are the lucky winner and the product you have won. I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you once again for joining us, and to our speakers and sponsors, especially NASFAT and Hilal Takaful. We appreciate you for contributing your time and resources to make this a reality. And now welcome Mr. Zubairu Sulaiman Darazo, Head Takaful Insurance Unit for NAICOM, to give his keynote address. Mr. Zubairu. Okay.
Yeah. I would like to start by congratulating the organizers, or actually commending them for organizing this important webinar. I believe this kind of webinar should be organized more frequently to help the industry in disseminating information and sensitizing the public generally on the existence of Takaful and Takaful products in particular. I would like to, I don't have a speech per se to deliver, but what I will try to do is just to give a remark on the history and the development of Takaful insurance in Nigeria, and also try to give a background on some of the key challenges that we are facing, and probably propose solutions, and also listen to the other participants and how we will come together, both the regulators and the operators, in order to surmount all the challenges that we are facing. The journey of Takaful insurance in Nigeria actually started in that's I'm talking of from the regulatory side, started in 2002 when some of the operators contacted the commission requesting for approval to sell Takaful insurance as a product. At that time, both the operators and the regulators lacked the necessary capacity to operate the Takaful insurance as a stand-alone company. So the commission decided to approve those products for Africa Alliance, I think, are the first, then Niger Insurance and Cornerstone. They approved the product as their window, or as their line of their conventional product, to sell the Takaful insurance as part of their conventional product. In order to midwife those product, understudy it and see how to go by. That's at 2022, the commission is just trying to be reactive, because they are reacting to the demand of the operators. So as time goes by, in 2013, after a reasonable number of capacity has been built, and also the reasonable data has been gathered, the commission decided to issue the Takaful Insurance Guideline 2013. This is in order to give a platform for intending operators, that's the promoters, to present their application for a license to operate a fully fledged Takaful operation. Some of the issues that necessitated the issuance of the 2013 Takaful insurance guidelines is the issue of reporting, because the products are approved as part of their conventional product, So there is a difficulty because they are reporting, their returns are being submitted, consolidated, including as part of their conventional operation. So there is actually a difficulty from the regulator to sift out those areas that include Takaful operation. Another key issue is the issue of the absence of Sharia governance framework. At that time, as we are aware that for any Islamic finance institution to operate, there has to be additional layer of regulation, which is known as the Sharia governance, where you are required to set up AIDs, Advisory Council of Experts, the Internet Sharia compliance units, and what have you. So these are the key issues that leads to the Commission to develop the 2013 Takaful guidance. Excuse me. So going to the present overview of the global Takaful industry, as we are aware, Takaful is just an alternative way of doing insurance business that is in line with the Sharia. So globally, in 2018, the total global Takaful contribution stands at 44 billion USD, and is expected to reach 75 billion by the end of 2024. As you have already rightly said, there are a number of operators, almost 500 operators globally. In Nigeria, we have 5 operators as against 4 that you announced. Yes, we have 4 operators, standalone operators: Noor Takaful, Jais, Salam, and Hilal. But we also have one still existing, one window operator, which is the Africa Alliance, though they are also in the process of transitioning to fully fledged. The total contract 2020 almost 4 billion, which is still very low. If you take the ratio, is still hovering around less than amount of the gross premium generation. I would like to also talk on the reasons why the diffusion of the Takaful insurance in the country is still a business, and that the operators are here with me, the MDs and what have you. This is my personal opinion, but I feel like I think the operators should take note of this. Based on the research we did, and that was back in 2010 and what have you, the chunk of potential for Takaful insurance in the country resides with the personal lines insurance businesses. So if you look at the trend of operation of the operators now, they are also behaving or towing the lines of the conventional operators in competing in corporate accounts, corporate businesses, while we feel like the opportunities are on personal lines and small and medium scale businesses. I believe there is a responsibility from us, the Commission, and as well as the operators, to do more in the area of enlightenment, area of sensitization of the customers, the consumers, to really be aware of the existence of this Takaful proposition. Because I've seen in so many instances where some of us went to meet some customers, sensitize them on the issue of Takaful and what have you. You see most of them, even those that are considered to be educated, you'll be surprised. They will tell you that they are not aware of the existence of Takaful. So I think we need to do more. We need to come together and create some platforms for sensitization and what have you. So talking about sensitization, there are a number of proposed seminars or workshops that is coming up, which is going to be organized by the Commission. Some of them has already been implemented. For example, the workshop organized by the small scale operators in Kano and Lagos recently, and the Commission will continue to organize such kind of seminars and workshop going forward. Another challenge for the industry is actually the issue of lack of or that of skilled manpower. So I think we also need to collaborate with financial educational institutions, even from the secondary or primary level, to be like sensitizing the children, the students, on the merits of insurance in general and the Takaful concept in particular. So as it is now, the Commission were able to approve about 120 products, both life and general, to the operators. That's as at second quarter of this year. Yeah. So I think basically I would like to stop here, and I don't want to talk much. If there are questions from the participants, I'll be ready to take them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zubairu, for a wonderful presentation and compelling case for deepening non-interest insurance in Nigeria, and to set the need for sensitization, skilled manpower. All these are needed for the Islamic insurance market in Nigeria to thrive. So I will now invite Dr. Mustapha Ishaq Akinlaso, an Islamic finance specialist who doubles in Sharia non-compliance risk management and product development capacity with Taj Bank Limited, to moderate the panel session. Dr. Mustapha.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Bukola. It's really a pleasure being here. I think I cannot begin without appreciating the point shared by our keynote speech, and perhaps draw out a couple of takeaways for the members of the audience. First of all, about the speaker, I did some background check about him. He's someone who is well-versed and highly recognized both locally, or should I say nationally and internationally, in the field of Islamic finance. I understand he's an affiliate of several Islamic finance bodies, including those in Malaysia, as well as here in Nigeria as a fellow of the Islamic Institute of Islamic Finance Professionals. That sort of established an area of expertise, a credential for credibility to talk on this. So every word of it should not be taken lightly. More so, I also understand going through his career path, he's someone that started a career from the public sector down into the private sector, pension and insurance, and now into regulation. So that speaks volume to what he has said. And across the discussion, he has let us understand, gave us an inroad into the development of this Takaful industry, the theme with which we shall be discussing on today. And some of the points were the size of the industry in general as it is as compared to the overall conventional, which is less than 1% of what we have. It doesn't necessarily mean something not good. It just shows a lot of room for growth. It shows the room for potential as well as more work to be done. And he highlighted some of the reasons why it's this small in size. And just really took him to point. On one hand is on the supply side, which is, so to say, the practice of the incumbent practitioners in Islamic finance, not so many of them. And on the other hand, he also highlighted the dearth of skilled manpower, as well as awareness about it. Thank you very much, Mr. Zubairu, for walking us through this, for delivering such a wonderful keynote speech. To kick off this other segment, I also would like to begin, first of all, by thanking the organizers, WebTV, and particularly our host for today, for a job well done in organizing such a webinar. As our keynote speaker had mentioned earlier on in the start of his speech, he let us understand how important and pertinent this sort of event is, both for the industry as well as for the common people, to understand what is going on with regards to Islamic finance, particularly in this case, the aspect of Takaful. It is both timely and relevant in my opinion. And really, for me to moderate such a discussion, an exciting one, and one which the panel is so rich in experience and insights, I must say I'm really honored to add to that. So the theme of discussion this time around is on the subject of Takaful. And it goes in a triangle, as I'd like to put it. We have first the Islamic finance, then we have Nigerian insurance sector, and then we look into the opportunities for growth. And to have this discussion, it has to be such that the experts or those who are well-versed both in practice as well as theory will be those that will lead such a discussion. And that we have Mrs. Thaibat Adeniran, the Managing Director of Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd. She shall be walking us through, or beginning with, the area of sensitization, Islamic financial literacy, and the insurance sector as a whole. Then we have Mr. Aminu Tukur. He is the Vice Chairman of another Takaful company called Noor Takaful Insurance Plc. And he shall be walking us through investing through Islamic finance insurance products. That's also something really interesting, and I can imagine the audience are already waiting for that to begin already. And then we have Mr. Momodou Musa Joof, another leading practitioner in the industry. He is the Managing Director and the CEO of West Africa Takaful Limited. He is going to walk us through the opportunities that are in Takaful for growth, or in the West Africa, no, not even West Africa, in Sub-Saharan Africa, I beg your pardon. And lastly, we have Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, who is an insurance expert and a management consultant. His side of the discussion will be, he shall be contributing on Takaful and Nigeria's quest to deepen its insurance penetration. Now, all this together in one webinar, I think it's a whole lot to unpack. But then we're having seasoned discussants, experienced experts who shall be walking us through this one after the other. What I just want to require of the participant to ensure that we keep this interactive and engaging as much as we can. So to To commence the discussion on the stage, I shall please request the members of the panelists to turn on the camera and invite each of them to give a remark for 10 minutes. Thereafter, we can have a couple of back and forth and we'll open the floor for members of the audience. I'd also like to add that at the end of this discussion, there are giveaway packs from the host, the organizers, which I shall leave to the host after our discussion is over. I'm yet to see Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam, but then to begin, we have a set of poll questions which we would like to seek your opinion on. If the host is on top of things, shall I invite you to post our first poll where we want to inquire about the audience on how well do we know about insurance, or how aware are we about the Takaful industry in particular. With that said, shall I invite Mr. Aminu Tukur, again, the Vice Chairman of Noor Takaful Insurance Plc, who shall walk us through investing through Islamic insurance products. Please, Mr. Aminu, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Mustapha. Good morning.
Good morning. Alaikum salam. Good to see you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you for your moderation so far. Thank you to the team at WebTV for giving us this opportunity, not just us, me and Noor Takaful, but everybody in the Islamic finance space. This is something that we really require. So let me share my screen. I'll stand on existing protocol, and let me just go through the outline. So it's a very, very short presentation. I understand I have about 10 minutes to talk about this topic, which is very, very, I'm very passionate about. The reason why I'm very passionate about this is my background is more of investment. And then over time, I moved on to insurance. Before I moved into insurance, I didn't understand the benefit of life insurance. And I kept on thinking that why insurance people coming after investment money? So let me carry on. Insurance is a very, very important aspect of personal financial planning. This is something that a lot of us are very, very familiar with. We've seen the cash flow management. When they're talking about financial planning, they talk to you about your cash flow, how you spend your money, how much money you get, how much money you spend. They talk about investments, how much you go into investment. They talk about tax planning. It's not so important in our economy today, tax planning, but this is something very, very important in very developed economies. However, we all know what the tax regime is changing for the better. And we realize that, look, we have to do our tax planning very well. Then we talk about legacy planning. Legacy planning is more or less about what you leave for the people that, that come after you, your family, your children, and so on. Then insurance. I think to a large extent, insurance has been abandoned under the financial planning in the Nigerian concept. And I'll explain it in my own, why I do that later on. But let's look at what is the use of insurance. What for me insurance does is it's an essential part of sound financial planning. Insurance can protect your loved ones if you're injured in an accident, become sick, disabled, or die. But this is something that in Nigeria we do not like to talk about in our culture. We don't like talking about death especially. But that is the most inevitable thing in this world, death. And we need to start talking about it because we need to start preparing for death. And because of insurance, or what insurance does for you is certain situations put you in a very, very difficult position because without coverage, you find that you get to put yourself in trouble. So it's important to get a policy based on your financial situation. Different financial situations for different people. You can be earning the same salary with your colleague, but he's in a different financial position he has 5 children, he has parents that are dependent on him. So his demand of money is totally different like yours, that you may have 2 or 3 children and no dependent children. So what does insurance do? I think for everything, the most important thing that we take out of insurance is that it gives you protection. It helps you in times of needs, it gives you security, safety, coverage. But more importantly, it gives you that confidence that if anything were to happen to you, you have something to fall back on. Now, we're going to talk about life insurance, because life insurance or family takaful focuses on the investment aspect of it. And what this does, it provides coverage in the form of financial assistance. And this financial assistance can be mostly in terms of cash, but not only cash. What it does, it gives you in terms of investment and savings, protection when it comes to health or medical needs. We all know we have HMOs. Some of us are fortunate to have HMOs. And those of us that are fortunate to have HMOs know that, look, when our child is ill, our spouse is ill, we're comfortable that we know that, look, to a large extent, those medical needs are taken care of. And this is all part of insurance. Then, of course, in terms of retirement. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, because the topic is today about investing through Islamic financial products. But let's take, what is the difference between investment and insurance? So I've tried to summarize it in very simple terms. For investment, the definition is very simple: putting money into something with the expectation of gain. For insurance, it's transfer or share of risk for takaful model for potential loss. It doesn't mean you're going to have a loss, but what happens if there is that loss? Now, why do you need investment? Because you want to grow your wealth. Why do you need insurance? Because you cannot predict the future and you want to protect against possible loss. How do they work? Well, with an investment, you use money to acquire assets that you hope would appreciate to generate income. Under insurance is, because you cannot predict the future, you have to ensure that in case of a bad thing happening in the future, you are able to leverage on something that other people have contributed, which is the benefit or beauty of takaful. It is mutual assistance. What does insurance do? Insurance safeguards you against the present, future, and protects your wealth, the wealth you have accumulated, a car you have purchased, the property you have built, and your life. It's very, very important that you protect it. And your life has different features. Your life is about the love you share with your family at that point in time. Your life is about providing for your family. But what happens if your Almighty Allah takes your life at that point in time? What do? You leave, lack of a better word, you leave your family exposed, naked. So it gives you that protection. And what do you look at in identifying these things? How much cover do I get? If I have a family takaful or a life insurance, sorry, for those who are not too familiar, under the takaful model, life insurance is called family takaful. So what does that cover? Do I get accident benefits? What are the riders? Do I get any health benefit attached to that? And there are numerous things that you can add to this. This is just a summary of how this thing works. You contribute money, and part of your money that you have contributed, we do not collect premium. What we accept is contribution on the takaful model. And part of your contribution goes into your investment account as a participant. Then a little amount goes into a tabaru fund or a risk fund. That is the amount you're actually donating in the case of sharing your risk. When upon maturity, you collect back to your funds plus any profits. In case of a death or loss of life, it's whatever that you have contributed plus the amount in the risk fund or Tabari fund that we will put together and give to your named beneficiaries. So it's a very, very simple model. It's a beautiful model that works. And I'll give you a case study that differentiates between investment and insurance. Now, this is a true life case study. We had a participant, sum covered was 24 million naira, monthly contribution 200,000 naira over a 10-year period. So the person was expected to make 120 contributions of 200,000 naira. Unfortunately, after 33 months, his life was lost. At that point in time, he had made a contribution of 6.6 million naira. So we took that 6.6 million naira from the participant investment account, the PIA. Then we took 17.4 million naira from the Tabaru fund, which is the risk fund that we manage on behalf of all participants. We added that and gave his listed beneficiaries 24 million naira. Now, if you look at the bottom of the table, table C, investment versus insurance, if he had taken that 6.6 million naira and invested it, and let's assume a profit rate of about 15%, the profit he would have made on that was over 990,000 naira. So if his family or beneficiaries would have liquidated his investment at the time of death, they would have gotten 7.5 million naira, as against the 24 million naira that Noor Takaful paid out. Now, while I've stated that in this case, Takaful seems better than investment, Takaful or insurance is not an alternative to investment. I'll say that again. Insurance is not an alternative. Insurance complements investment. Investment complements Takaful. It's very important that you have both of them. So if you can easily put 100,000 naira in a month away, you should be able to divide and separate it and say, look, 50,000 goes into my investment, 50,000 goes into my Takaful family fund. You need the two of them. And that's why I say they complement each other. None is better. Again, these are questions I get asked regularly. How much do I allocate to each? It depends on your financial position. You need to sit down, speak with experts, speak to your Takaful advisor, speak to your investment advisor. You just need to determine how much you can afford on a monthly basis. What are the returns on life insurance or life Takaful? What we try and do at Noor Takaful is not to sell returns. And that is, I think, a problem we have had in the insurance industry. You have people trying to sell insurance as an investment. No, what we sell is a protection. Despite the fact that if you have a Takaful policy, you will get profit on top of it. But the primary reason why you have a Takaful family Takaful product or service is because of the protection in it. These are just basic things why you should save money, emergency fund purchases, wealth building. So part of conclusion, what we tell people is you save first, then spend, save regularly, be consistent, speak with experts, and select the solution that suits you best. These are various, we've extracted two things from the Quran that supports Takaful. In the Quran, it says, help one another in righteousness, piety, and do not assist one another in sin and aggression. So this is the issue of sharing, risk sharing. When you do risk sharing under the Takaful model, you're assisting one another in terms of needs. And even the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's a parable that says, believers in their affliction, mercy and compassion for each other is that of a body. So a human body. When the limb aches, the whole body reacts with sleeplessness and fever. We know how it is. You hit your toe and you have a headache. And so that is how we see the Muslim Ummah together. If somebody is suffering, then we all suffer together. Now, I've decided to bring these products because these are the products I know. And the organizers have said, oh, let's talk about a few products. So at Noor Takaful, we have various products that we can talk about. 1-year products, 2-year products, 5-year, and much more. And I believe other Takaful operators in the country have similar products. So it's important that you talk to any one of the Takaful operators. We are all there. I think we're all composite, at least the 4 full-fledged Takaful operators are all composite, which means they offer both general Takaful and family Takaful. So get to speak to them, get to compare products and see which one suits you the best. So thank you very much. And like we say at Noor Takaful, have it both ways with us. Either you enjoy through claims or surplus sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Aminu, walking us through the notion or the concept of investing through insurance products. Indeed, your presentation was succinct yet compact, if only one can actually sit down and decipher everything that you have said one after the other. We're really grateful. I do hope the participants are able to benefit much from that if we all listen attentively. Just a brief run through. You've helped us understand the difference between insurance, Takaful, and investment. The word Takaful, a couple of times have been mentioned, but actually Takaful is meaning insurance that is done in line with Islamic commercial jurisprudence, Islamic principle. And that is really amazing. And the case study that you brought actually is very helpful as we all can relate with it. It resonates very well. And lastly, you did before that, actually, you laid some underlying principle upon which the concept of Takaful is built upon. And that is about really, in essence, helping one another. And Takaful is not an investment, it's more about protection. But in the process, actually, you gain some investment. So it places it in a bit of a hybrid position. And lastly, you highlighted some of the products. Thank you very much, Mr. Aminu. We shall come back to you on further discussions in that regard. I believe members of the audience are already throwing in some questions, and some are already for our keynote speaker. I do hope Mr. Zubairu is on alert. We shall also come back to him. In the interest of time, we shall proceed to re-invite Mrs. Thaibat to now go on and share her keynote. Mrs. Thaibat, yes, and there are some remarks coming up from the members of the audience. We have one from Ame Ugu, who is saying your presentation was insightful.
We are saying here, we're to talk about the opportunities of Takaful growth in sub-Saharan Africa. Global Takaful operators I start with. What is Takaful? So many times we want to assume in forums that people appreciate Takaful. No, it's always the question that we need to carry along the sensitization and educating more on Takaful. How do we operationalize Takaful? What's Takaful management's responsibility? Then the difference between Takaful and conventional insurance needs to be talked about all the time. Takaful and the economy, the operation of micro Takaful, successful Takaful developments, and the way forward. With that, we start by looking at the sub-Saharan countries that we're concerned about. And this is to say we have countries like Angola, Benin, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cape Verde, Cameroon, Central Africa. These are the countries that we're talking of. And of these countries, we are saying the Gulf Cooperation region, GCC, we have 72 operators. Iran, we have 19, that is global. East Africa, East Asia and Pacific, we're talking of over 40, Africa 41 and above. South Africa over 21, Near East 8 and others. This, my country Gambia, is about 2 million in population and 95 Muslims. 95% are Muslims, established Takaful in 2008. Kenya about 40 million in population, 15% Muslims. They've established Takaful in 2011. Egypt, about 94 million population, and mainly Muslims. They've established Takaful since 2015. Algeria, through Salama, established since 2000, with turnover of about 44 million US dollars. Tunisia have about 3 Takaful companies. They've established Takaful since 1982. Morocco, Takaful by Wafa Assurance in 2016. Nigeria regulators NAICOM published the law governing Takaful in 2013 and have about 4 Takaful companies now. Sudan remains the custodian of Takaful articles and among the genuine claimants of its establishment, especially in Africa. Sudan's market, which started in 1979, is 100% Takaful and Takaful. Let's help members of the participants who still have difficulty understanding or appreciating Takaful. In Malaysia, it is defined as a scheme based on brotherhood, solidarity, and mutual assistance, which provides for mutual financial aid and assistance to the participants in case of need. The participants mutually agree to contribute for that purpose. So here we're beginning to see that it's different from conventional, where you are not going in to transfer a risk at the cost of a premium, but as a society, we have agreed mutually to support each other in the times of needs. That is when we suffer a loss claim. Now, when you dissect the agreement, it's a contract between participants themselves. The community, those people who are living in Lagos have agreed to go to Jais Takaful, but amongst themselves, they've seen the need that there is need to support each other in times of needs. So participant 1, participant 2, participant 3, they all come to Jais to join. Then what are they doing? Tabaru. It's a donation. They have agreed, they are not selling. They have given what they have as a donation, as a contribution, as their obligation. So from there, you have also now a contract between them, those as a group of participants, and the Takaful operator. Jais set up the facility and say, we are here to help you facilitate, bring all that you have. So Takaful operator, and that is, it can be under a contract of Wakala. The contract for managing the fund, could be under Wakala, where you pay them a fee for them to manage the fund for you. Or it could also be under the contract of Mudaraba, that's profit sharing. You agree that you help us manage this fund, operate it, and at the end of the day, when there is profit, we share between participants and the operator. Or any other commercial contract not forbidden by Sharia to start. So therefore, management of Takaful has a tripartite responsibility. And what we are saying is the management responsibility is tripartite in the sense that it has the participants, it must manage the shareholders' interest. Shareholders are coming in to put in their money so that you are able to put up the facility, office, equipment, staffing and all that. But in the interest that in time, that money they've invested will yield halal returns for them. The participants who come to join also have agreed between themselves that this will be supporting their needs. And in addition, they expect that when that venture is profitable, their share of profit will be given to them. The economy, Takaful has a responsibility to the economy by, paying more tax, creating employment, and all what you call it. So here we are saying the Takaful operations, we have government supervising in Nigeria. NAICOM is very much on top of it, supervising every activity of Takaful, which is very important. And that we have also a board of directors, representing shareholders' interests as well as management in the operation of Takaful. And we have a Sharia advisory board that also comes in to confirm that everything we're doing is Sharia compliant. So that you see there is more regulation in Takaful than compared conventional practice. There is no room for Takaful to do it other than the right way. We want to look at the main salient difference between conventional insurance and Takaful. It says ownership. With conventional, the company is owned by shareholders, meaning you have insured 500 vehicles, for instance. I mean, the owners pay money. The purpose is to settle losses, and surplus or profit is left to the owners of the company. But the question there is fairness and ethics, whether it is ethical, whether it is fair, because the money that they're managing doesn't belong to them. Why is it that they could have any form of genuinity or excuse to claim ownership of profit? With Takaful, you have participants coming. So it is the participants who own the capital and who owns whatever surplus or interest is realized. We say with conventional, you are transferring your risk at the cost of paying a premium. So that you've bought the Mercedes-Benz is 1 million naira, you come to them, you pay them 20,000 naira, go to bed and sleep. If you suffer a loss, you go back to them and they pay 1 million. So you've transferred the risk. But with Takaful, no, you're not transferring your risk, you are coming to share your risk. You have a vehicle, 1 million, Sister Thaibat has a vehicle, 5 million, another has a vehicle, 500,000. You're bringing your resources together to make sure that whoever suffers a loss, we use that pool to put you in the position you were before the loss. Well, because you are a participant, you have a say in what you're participating. So when there is surplus, we say by conventional practice, that surplus belongs to the shareholders and the company. Well, with Takaful, we say no, the surplus belongs to those who provided the capital in the first instance. So therefore, we have to go back and share profit with participants. No matter what you call it, whether you want to go by a model Mudaraba, Mudaraba Wakala, or you want to go by Wakala, or you want to go by Mudaraba only, please be fair to the principles of Islamic practice by ensuring that when there is profit to be shared, it is shared and at the right time. So what is Takaful? For those who still don't appreciate, we are saying it's full insurance. All the technical processes are the same. It's just the accounting principle, which is different. It says Takaful is nothing but insurance minus all the objectionables that you could have in conventional. We go to generally in the public and ask, they will say, oh, you insurance people are not fair. I pay you my money at the end of the year, nothing happens, and then I lose my money. So that is an objection. That is replaced by profit sharing. So we bring in also the question of zakat to the needy, which at the end of the day, if you look at all the full operation of Takaful, Takaful stands for all. It is there to serve the needy who would not have had anything to insure. They must pray and wish Takaful well, because at the end of the day, they could get their doors knocked at and a check is given to them for zakat. Those who have insured and have not made losses are in the shoes of an investor. They are called upon to be given their share of profit or surplus. Those who insure and have suffered losses also are paid faster, because that pool or that fund which belongs to participants, actually, unlike the conventional, is separated. You cannot have all the funds together. You have participants fund, and the participants fund is out there to pay all losses, to pay zakat, to pay all losses, to pay intermediaries fees, and to pay reinsurance or Takaful. And then whatever surplus is realized is where we pay zakat and share out the profit. So Takaful and the economy, they create employment opportunities, revenue, more tax revenue for the Takaful industry. We are saying comprehensive risk, ensuring the uninsured insurable risk. So many people would have just insured their vehicles for compliance with the law, but assets, they shy away from insurance because of that gambling element, where I will say you may or may not suffer a loss. If you suffer a loss, you benefit from insurance. If you do not suffer a loss, you lose the premium you paid them. So it's like a game of chance, and it's not accepted in Christianity, it's not accepted in Islam. The Holy Quran, the Bible condemns a game of chance. So for that reason, so many people would have had some insurable risk, which we are not insured. But by the time you bring in Takaful, then you are giving them an opportunity to insure that risk which was not insured. We say increase economic activity. Successful economies are backed by vibrant insurance industries. We increase investment for more participants in insurance. By having those who were not insuring to come and insure, we're providing more funds for investment and more confidence for new economic ventures. Those who had no avenue to insure are given opportunities now to insure through Takaful, and more confidence is installed. The successful developments. Nigeria's Minister of Finance launches Takaful operation from 2013. We see here, Nigeria has great potentials for Takaful insurance, considering its large population and Muslim community, coupled with the fact that Takaful is for all, irrespective of faith. Already 4 operators have been licensed for this year. By this, we are saying successful developments are that Takaful Gambia, this was a time when we established Takaful Gambia. In 2009, we started annual distribution of profits to participants. We say Takaful of Africa in Kenya continues to do well. Also Zambia. I went to Zambia to start the first Takaful window and it's doing well. We have ZEPRI window in Sudan, providing Takaful and training. Africa Re providing Takaful form from Egypt. Tunis Re opened its doors on the 1st of January 2011. Success stories continues. Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Mauritania, and Nigeria. Up to February 2021, we are seeking to contract a consultant through NSC, that is North-South Consultants Exchange, for a feasibility on Islamic finance. That means the interest is already there. The Africa Re, who offers a Takaful window, has its Nairobi office covering Burundi, Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Southern Sudan, Tanzania, and so on. So we are on the spread and on the move. Large Muslim populations. We say Muslim population is a driver of growth. With the large Muslim population spread across Africa, Takaful has great potentials. The increasing conscientiousness of Muslims to use financial products that are Sharia compliant. The 2007-2008 economic crunch showcased the resilient nature of Islamic finance. Remember the value proposition which is embedded in surplus sharing. You would have said Takaful is a new system for all, irrespective of faith, and is offering more value added to the conventional insurance concept. Here we add in zakat to the needy, we add in profit sharing or surplus sharing to participants. So we see that Takaful is a blessing for Africa with the African hospitality and culture, caring and sharing. Takaful, the best and most suitable system of insurance for Africa. Certainly. So we say, on that note, we thank you, Share WebTV, for giving us the opportunity to participate in this noble venture. We have a passion to promote Islamic finance at all times. Keep up your good work and always consider us as partners. Thank you. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Momodou Joof, for highlighting the success stories and development in the Takaful insurance segment and potential in Africa. So our next speaker is Mrs. Thaibat Adeniran. Mrs. Thaibat.
We are going to look at introduction, just a simple introduction. Do we really need financial literacy as a Muslim, or does Islamic really need a financial literacy? Islamic finance activities, who require Islamic financial literacy, and the critical success, and just to talk about who we are, then we conclude. Thank you. We'll move to the next slide. When we say financial literacy, is the advancement in the world of finance and information technology. This encourages, I would say, everyone, that is both Muslims and non-Muslims, to decide the right choice of financial products and services available, most of whom are already interested in Islamic finance, with most of the research done by EFINA. In order to be able to make the proper decision, then there's need for everybody to have what we call Islamic financial literacy. So financial literacy is a salient aspect required both in the economic, financial, and equally social environment. This will enable one to make proper financial decisions. As mentioned by Boshan and Mendrick in 2013, it described that financial literacy has become increasingly complex over the past few years with the introduction of many financial products. If you look at the whole economy or even the whole world, you just be seeing different financial products here and there. It's like, which one will be the best? How can I take a decision? Equally, Miller et al. In 2009 provided a number of reasons regarding the importance of financial literacy, especially on how to evaluate today's increasingly complex financial services and products. Sound decision-making help deal with financial difficulty. If you observe, most of this financial difficulty includes accumulated savings, which most financial institutions call idle funds, asset diversification, and equally the insurance to purchase. Also, improved financial behavior is part of what financial literacy we give almost everybody that try to imbibe it. For example, punctual payment of bills, most people don't plan for that. Manage appropriate loans. Some people, they'll tell you they've forgotten they had loan, where it shouldn't be. It's just because most of us don't have this financial literacy as part of us. And also, it helps to improve the efficiency and quality of financial services. It will enable different financial sectors to take some decision and equally to build on what the insuring public will benefit going forward. Therefore, financial knowledge and financial literacy is synonymously being used. It's the combination of awareness, knowledge, skill, attitude, and behavior, which are really, really necessary to make sound financial decisions. And most time, ultimately, is achieved by individual financial well-being. So anybody that have financial literacy, if you show from his attitude and equally how such a person manage funds. Islamic financial activity is one of the things that one need to ensure you take cognizance of whatever financial decision you intend to take. Under the principle that money is not regarded as productive assets or commodities, like tradable goods. Instead, money is benefit that can be obtained once it is functioned either as a means of exchange or medium of exchange or through investment with taking into account some key factors. Just like Hilal mentioned in 2011, he stated that the basic principle of Islamic finance refer to financial services performed according to Islamic law, which we call Sharia, which can be summarized as follows. Provision of interest-oriented investment. That it is mandatory, just like Brother Joof mentioned when he was making his presentation. Equally, risk sharing. When you are entering into any financial activities, ensure you have that win-win attitude. Money as a potential capital, because that is the basis of coming together for social financial activities. Provision of speculative behavior in Islam, that is forbidden. sanctity contract. Any decision you want to take, you must ensure there's all the key aspects that make a solid contract. The product we are talking about must be visible. It must be something that you can see. There must be agreement between the party, and the party must equally be of age, that is above 18 years. So before you enter into any financial activities, approve Sharia activities. Whatever activities you intend to put your financial resources into must be Sharia based. Then short selling is equally prohibited. The product you don't own, you don't sell. That is the principle that guides Islamic activities. Next slide, please. Who are the people that require financial literacy? A family. When we say a family, the husband, wife, children. So these are the people that require. They need to understand which of the product or financial product can fit and meet their needs. Because any product that any financial institution is trying to bring in must be able to meet the needs of any individual or family. Islamic organizations and corporate organizations, they equally have some other products that equally benefit them. Schools, just like the first speaker mentioned, there's need to start or take it from the school. There's need for us to start imbibing this financial literacy into the children while they are in school. Equally, associations are clubs. Most associations are clubs closed down at the middle of the sea. Why? Because they don't imbibe that financial literacy. But when you see those ones that have that in place, they continue to flourish and maintain the growth of their club or probably association. How can we now improve financial literacy? I have some key suggestions here. There's need for all insurance or Takaful operator, especially because the percentage of our contribution to the economy is still pretty low. So there's need for brand awareness. Most people, just like most of the speaker has mentioned, is like we've not heard about Takaful, especially what the regulator mentioned and when he was making his opening speech. So definitely we need our brand awareness strategy to be very solid and strong, that equally communicates something to the insurance public. The use of native adverts. We have different languages in Nigeria, so we need to equally put that and ensure that it's added more value to our business. Equally, we can partner with influencers, with operators. We can organize a forum where every operator can talk about his product. And equally, we can partake in webinar. That's why I appreciated the organizer of this particular webinar with what they have put together to educate the insurance public. Delivering lectures in the mosque, Islamic gathering, and many more. Some schools, they do organize programs. One can be there to tutor both the parents, the school, and the pupil on what insurance or Takaful is all about. Then we equally have a lot of many experts around. We can talk to them so that we continue to imbibe that. Most estates, they don't have their building covered. So what are we waiting for? So that is a big opportunity for us to start tapping as service provider. Next slide, please. So these are some of the critical issues to success. Like I mentioned, if we are using any of those platforms mentioned, we need to respond to questions very fast, because people, by tapping their fingers, they want you to get back to them. Not that you just send a particular product to the platform, then you go to sleep. No. A lot of social media, just like I mentioned, let's make it active. Let's ensure that most of these, our phones, our gadgets, work for the money we have purchased them with. Networking is another fantastic area that we can equally invite to continue to tell people, let them know who we are, let them know what we are into, the product they can benefit, and many more. Next slide. There's a lot of live events I know some CDA, they do have their monthly meetings. One can be there to give them short pep talk that to enable them know that the opportunity is very close to them. And also, if you are living within a particular estate, why not cover the whole estate and be on top of your business? Email marketing. For email marketing, it gives operator the opportunity when, as you are sending renewal notices, you can equally attach some new products so that the customer can know about it and equally be able to tap into it. Then another one is advertising. Advertising is key. Some people say the best medicine for a business is to advertise. So there's need for us to continue to advertise ourselves, either a Takaful operator or insurance company. That will enable other people, either through newspaper, local newspaper, radio. There's so many mediums that you can adopt to push this advertising system to the insuring public. Next slide, please. I put this because I've seen some vehicles. You just realize they just designed their vehicles. So I call it wrap your car. So just put different products of yours on your vehicle. I believe that is the only way for people to know. Like some people, they call me Mama Takaful. Well, for me, I enjoy that because that is what I know how to do best. So I want all of us to equally have that and continue to carry the logo of their organization wherever they go. Then host events, just like I mentioned earlier, 2-3 operators can come together, organize an event, and maybe it can be maybe a different sector, different location. So that will enable us to be everywhere. As people are talking about insurance or private Takaful, they know it exists and it's for real, and they can benefit a lot from it. Next slide, please. Yeah. Who we are? This is just to let us know we are Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd. We are formerly known as Second Takaful Nigeria Ltd. We commenced operation as the pioneer and the first composite Takaful window operator in Nigeria in 2010 and registered with NAICOM. Alhamdulillah, the company is licensed and recertified by the National Insurance Commission to operate as composite Takaful operator, that is family and general business. The class of our business are many. I've just mentioned some. We have motor, third party, and equally comprehensive, engineering or risk, asset protection, and many more. We equally have a lot of family products that you can use to plan for either the education of your child or probably your association, your corporate organization. We have over 10 years worth of experience as a window composite Takaful operator and has been distributing surplus to participants, just like Joof mentioned that we need to ensure we distribute surplus. So we've been doing that over the past 7 years. As the general business is growing, we are very, very committed to providing adequate cover and professional advices to our participants in all time. At Hilal Takaful, we remain committed to provide an insurance that is Sharia compliance. We guide that jealously. We are also committed to our core value, which include integrity, empathy, professionalism, innovation, and team spirit, with our continued mission of delivering value beyond expectation through need-based products and quality service. I believe with this little, it will enable us to know that everybody really needs financial literacy. We can give a talk anywhere if you want us to come and talk and guide on how best you can start building this financial literacy so that it can be part and parcel of us. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience and for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you indeed, Mrs. Thaibat from Hilal Takaful. In this very short presentation, it's quite a lot to unpack, and I already envisage that given your wealth of experience in the industry, being a pioneer operator in Nigeria's Takaful space since 2010, Well, at that time, we didn't even have an operating Islamic bank yet, because the Pioneer Islamic Bank started a year after. What a vision, what a foresight. And to that, I have a couple of questions for you in particular. However, you put it quite fair as well. Both operators and the regulators and all stakeholders around Takaful has a role to play in the awareness, but specifically you have dwelled on the operation side that the operators need to do. And this is very much aligned with the point or the recommendation of our keynote speaker today, that yes, there's a lot of benefit potential for Takaful. However, due to lack of awareness, we've not been able to harness them, and we've not been able to deliver that value for the general populace. Thank you so much. We're really honored to have you on. And without further ado, not to hold us any more, we shall invite Mr. Ekerete to come and share his thoughts on what he thinks about Nigeria's Takaful industry. Basically, Takaful and Nigeria's quest to deepen its insurance penetration. Again, Mr. Ekerete is an insurance expert and a management consultant, and he believes there's a conspiracy against Takaful or insurance sector. So please, the floor is yours, Mr. Ekerete.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mustapha, and thank you once again for the organizers, and we also thank the regulator for making time to do his keynote address, which has dealt with a number of things I wanted to raise. You know, from the presentation that I'm meant to make, I'll be speaking to the issue of the opportunities that Takaful presents for insurance penetration in Nigeria. And I just want to take us through what I consider as understanding Takaful as an opportunity. So we'll look at that. And like I did mention also, I don't want to bore you with the origin and the rationale for Takaful and all that, but there is a key phrase. Go to the next slide, please. There's a key phrase that I wanted to emphasize, and that's to mutually guarantee. You know, to mutually guarantee. That is something that is unique to Takaful. And sometimes when we're discussing conventional insurance, we just discuss it as I'm begging you to do something. But here we are talking about a mutual understanding between two people. And so I consider that Islamic insurance, Takaful, is very attractive for our people because in the course of selling insurance, people have said to me, what if I don't make any claims in the course of the year? What happens to the premium I have paid? You know, I mean, to my mind, this was the first thing I learned about Takaful. You know, it provides an opportunity for you to share in the surplus. You know, and the other important thing for us to note is the access it gives you to finance. And I know some of our speakers have already mentioned that security, protection, your lifestyle needs to be protected and all of that. Now, I'm also happy that the regulator mentioned this. When I noted in my own presentation that the history of Takaful in Nigeria has moved from products to companies. So the early adopters, like African Alliance, you know, are still selling the products, you know, and well, I'm happy that you mentioned that they are trying to, you know, migrate into an entity, because when you've been in that business for some time, you need to move to the next level. Yes, challenges will continue to be there, but these challenges are opportunities. Next slide, please. When you look at it, the issue for me is that insurance is a business of numbers. And I like when we discuss numbers and make people see that, you know, the real essence of insurance is so much not about you dying and your beneficiary getting it, but while you are alive, you know, we can create wealth together. The numbers can come together and create huge, you know, pool of wealth that we can all be proud of. One thing that we're not doing very well in Nigeria is sweating our population. We seem to be waiting for someone somewhere to do something, whereas we can come together, you know, in our numbers and be able to do a lot. So I'm just showing you some numbers here. I'm saying the Nigerian estimated population is over 200 million. Without those numbers, but how many people really have, you know, insurance cover? As of last year, the National Insurance Commission said to us that we have 1.03 million individual policyholders in Nigeria, and that we have 891,218 corporate policyholders. You know, I was very excited when I saw those numbers because I've tried to, you know, bring this discussion into the space and say, what are we really doing? How far are we going? So when you look at this number now, today we are speaking Takaful. How many contributors or participants, you know, do we have today that we can begin to engage and say in the next 2 years, this is what we want to have, so that we don't make the same mistake that we have made with conventional insurance. You know, in Nigeria, we've got an insurable population. I'm happy, you know, the one I call the guru of Takaful mentioned it, you know, Momodou Joof. You know, we have the insurable population of about 120 million for insurance. And I do think from my little work that out of that, we have over 60 million that could do Takaful, you know. But next slide, please. But the important issue has always been, how are we selling it? You will find out that with conventional insurance, and I needed to add that to what Joof said. The difference between conventional insurance, in my own mind, and Takaful is that conventional insurance says the law says, but Takaful does not say the law says. All right. So we come into that space and begin to understand why we need to do our own awareness for Takaful and education in a different manner. And the regulator mentioned it when he said he expects us to do a lot of personal line business, because that's what Takaful promotes. All right. And when we're doing that, you find out that this whole story about culture and religion inhibiting insurance, like I've always argued, is just something that is in the space. All right. However, the real issue is ignorance. So how many people know that, you know, insurance is a financial instrument that you can use to create wealth, protect wealth, and create jobs and all of that? You know, if not for insurance companies, a lot of business in Nigeria would have been out of place. Nobody is talking about that. So sometimes it's also the way we understand it, the way we promote it, that makes the difference. If we get the right partners, and I want to emphasize right partners, because it's not everyone that will go with you on that journey. You know, some people don't understand that when you wake up and go out, you start managing risk. And one way of managing risk is insurance. So how are you managing your risk? When you have a car crash, you are able to call your uncle and aunties to come together and contribute for you to buy a new car. So they are your insurers. All right. So these are the kind of things that we need to say and make people understand the difference. Takaful, to my mind, is available, is accessible, is affordable for everyone. However, the Takaful operators are the ones that need to make it to be seen that way, because we are suffering the same issues that we are suffering with conventional insurance. When people don't see you, people don't know that you are there. How many Takaful companies are online for the young people who are online? Okay, so we're speaking about insurance of cars. How about insurance of phones, where young people believe that their phones are even more important to them than houses and cars? So there we go with technology. We've got to make technology adaptable and easy to use. Sometimes some companies have said you can buy insurance from us in 5 minutes, but I mean, you end up spending more time to even access the app before you can spend the 5 minutes to buy the insurance. So sometimes we try to sell these things, but we don't understand that the audience that we're trying to sell it to is not able to, you know, run with us, and we wonder why we're not doing well. We've got to be active, sociable, responsible, and responsive. Now, this is for both the participants and the operators, because you've got some people that really don't come into the relationship in a responsible manner. Yes, we have fraud going on in every industry, essentially. And so we should expect that it will happen here. How are we positioned to ensure that if it happens, we are protected, our investment is protected, you know? So these are the points that I think we need to work on. And I do know that it's not as difficult as we think sometimes, because out there's a country that has shown us that, you know, they can mass produce for everyone. We used to think that mass production was not possible. People say, oh, people have different preferences and choice and all of that. But they made it possible that you can go in and pick and choose which one you want, you know? So Thaibat talked about language. And I do know that Nigeria is overdue for insurance to be sold in local languages. We've had this discussion over the last 10 years, and we are yet to see that. However, Takaful presents the opportunity, because during the different festivals, during the different periods that we are celebrating one thing or the other, they come out, insurance companies also come out and advertise, you know, in the language that people will understand. But we need to do this a lot more. And I do think that if we do this well, you will find out that a lot more people, you know, will begin to rely on Takaful than the conventional insurance. And I usually try not to compare, because people will come out with their different beliefs and different expectations. You know? But ultimately, for insurance, what people expect is that it works. And I do believe that insurance works, and it can work if we are all committed to it. The next slide, please. So my message to us is basically saying insurance creates wealth. So don't just save what you get, invest in an insurance policy. Not many people know that during the COVID period, those that had policies with insurance companies were able to approach insurance companies and take loans, because they had those kind of policies that gives loans to policyholders, you know. Now, so I heard today from the regulator that, I mean, there are about 120 products, Takaful. Where are those products? What do they represent? These are the things that people need to know. And the story should change. It also protects wealth. You can recover from crises which affect your health, your business, your job, your property. And the more we do this, the more we'll find out that people will begin to embrace what we are doing. Because indeed, COVID has taught us that you first have to be responsible for yourself. All right. So that means you've got to look out for things. The days of waiting for insurance to come and enlighten you, I mean, for me, you don't have to wait. People say insurance companies should create more awareness. And I say, look, there is awareness. It's just that the awareness is not for this kind of insurance. People are doing insurance every day, you know. So it guarantees your well-being, and that's Takaful for you. You know, you are at peace when promises are kept. So I do believe that we've got a long journey out there. However, we can begin to address this journey by just looking at the numbers. Like I said, how many do we have today? How many more do we want to have next year? And let's move that way. And I do believe that data, which is the most important thing right now for everyone, is what will make the difference going forward. Thank you so much. And I do hope I've been able to contribute to this. Thank you, everyone. And I look forward to a better Takaful environment for Nigeria. Thanks.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Ekerete. What an insightful presentation, succinct to download. And I think everyone actually had a good grasp of the points that you've highlighted. And really, just reiterating your closing parts, I think it's very essential. Those 3 points we hold very dear. First of all, Takaful, unlike what we used to know, it actually creates wealth. You don't just save what you get, it's actually an investment. Second, it protects wealth. You can recover from crises which may affect your health, your job, or even your property. I think that's solid. And the last point, which I think is very important and something every individual is concerned with, regardless of your age, regardless of your occupation, regardless of your gender, is that it guarantees your well-being. You are at peace when your promises are kept. I think this is really solid. When you mentioned them, I hold those 3 points very close. Thank you very much, Mr. Ekerete. I do believe the members of the audience have benefited from this discussion. Just to sum up what have been discussed so far, and then moving quickly, due to time, we had a bit of technical issues that has eaten up the time allotted. I shall invite first all panelists to turn on their camera as we dive into the next phase of the discussion, which is the Q&A. We won't have time to go through one after the other, but we would give the audience the preference by tackling the questions that the audience have presented before us first. However, I'd like to thank every one of you for the wonderful sharings, Mr. Aminu, Mrs. Thaibat, Mr. Ekerete, and Mr. Joof. It's indeed very pleasurable listening to you and enlightening actually about Takaful industry. We understand Takaful to some extent from the theoretical part, but hearing from you guys in practice, we understand more of the challenges as well as the opportunity that it presents. So far we have actually addressed the issue of literacy and the insurance sector. We've also discussed by Mr. Aminu, investing through Takaful product. We have a rough idea of what sort of products do we look into and what nature of investment it is and how that is different from what we used to know from the conventional insurance offerings. Also, we understand the opportunities for growth on a global or on a larger regional scale, say from the sub-Saharan Africa perspective, and with Mr. Ekerete giving us the last morsel, in this case, about how to deepen the insurance penetration through Takaful. So once again, thank you very much, our distinguished panelists. We'll start first with the number of questions, with the questions at hand. I'm not sure if we have with us the keynote speaker, because the first question was actually addressed to the keynote speaker, where he mentioned that there are close to 120 products as at second quarter this year, 2021, Takaful products that have been approved. Zainab Hassan from the audience would like to know where she can get those, a list of those insurance products. In his absence, I wonder if any of the panelists can actually comment on that. Okay, I think we reserve it for the regulator. The host shall take that up with him and then revert to members of the audience in general for the question. And here is a question which I think I'd like to direct to Mrs. Thaibat. It's coming from Amir Ugu. And Amir Ugu is asking first, 3 sets of questions, interesting question, but first to Mrs. Thaibat. Can non-Muslim do Takaful insurance in Nigeria? I'm not sure if this person is asking as a policy holder or the person is asking actually as a Takaful operator. However, Mrs. Thaibat, the floor is yours. Please do us that good.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that question is very, very solid. I will look at it on two angles. As a participant or as an insured, a Takaful, whether you're a Muslim or non-Muslim, just like I mentioned in my presentation, you are free to partake in Takaful. And you can equally benefit fully from whatever benefit that is embedded for other participants within the pool. But now the second question is, can a non-Muslim commence Takaful? I'm always very proud because Takaful came to Nigeria by a non-Muslim, because it came through the first company, which happened to be a life company, that is African Alliance. And then the person that brought it happened to be a Christian. The only thing, he was unable to go into the nitty-gritty. So he now called Muslims to join with him in order to have it solid because of the Sharia element. But he wrote his thesis on Islamic finance. So if a non-Muslim can follow the guiding principle, is free to commence takaful. Even in the developed country like UK, we have non-Muslim taking up Islamic finance, and they follow the guiding principle and they are flourishing. So for me, either way, a non-Muslim is free to take up takaful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the swift and deep response there regarding the question by Aminu. I shall pass on the other part of the question that this same person raised, but this time around to Mr. Aminu Tukur. Okay, we have a comment coming up by Mr. Momodou Joof. Please go ahead, intervene. Okay, I think there's some technical issues. Shall I then invite Mr. Aminu to? Okay, you're back.
Hello.
On. Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Momodou, please go ahead.
Yes, just in support with Sister Thaibat's position, I am saying it should be appreciated globally now that takaful is for all. It's more to do with ethics and fairness. Whether you Muslim or non-Muslim, you participate in takaful, you're given the same consideration, rights, and obligations. So together we move it. An example is when I started Phoenix Takaful in Zambia. Zambia is 14 million, about 14 million population and 95% Christian. So up to about the time I'm leaving, my entire staff were non-Muslims. Fortunately, we had 3 of them ended up converting into Islam, you know, but we are saying, even when we did the launching of takaful in a 5-star hotel, the authors and supporters dressed so well that you definitely wouldn't know that they are non-Muslims. So that we are also on the side, saying on the side of the benefit, even in my little country here in Gambia, the first zakat I gave out from Takaful Gambia, the first that I established, I say the second zakat went to 8 high schools, and each high school I chose 5 students and gave them 5 needy students and gave them scholarship. And these chosen schools included one which is a Catholic school called St. Teresa's. So that it is for mankind, it is the fairness. It's just that we want to make sure that it is in compliance with that which Islam recommends and which Islam would want to be associated with. But it's an economic venture, which is just Sharia compliant. But after all the beauties that Islam has for mankind is open to mankind. You just don't, God is, because we are open to say, you can never tell when the person decides tomorrow that for the concept, fairness and all that, I'm convinced that if everything else is like this, we want to come over. So it is definitely for everyone. Maybe the least you can expect is that if it is to start up, there has to be in the management, top management, at least knowledgeable people in Islamic finance who are Muslims. You may have the head being a Muslim and all the rest being non-Muslims, just to guide for preciseness of the products that you are presenting to the market. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you indeed, Mr. Momodou Joof. It's interesting to note that you have a pool of non-Muslim into takaful business and starting up with them, and it doesn't really defer them from participating either as an operator or also as a policy holder. That is really great to note. Okay, please, on the second question, I think to some extent you have highlighted it, but just to satisfy Aminu, he asked, what are the competitive advantage of the Nigerian Islamic finance, especially on takaful? What are the competitive advantage? This, over the course of discussion, has been mentioned. However, if perhaps that can be summarized into bullet points, please, I welcome any member of the panelists, perhaps Mr. Ekerete, on in this regard.
Okay, so for me, I do think, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
All right, thanks. So for me, I do think that Mr. Joof has more or less addressed this issue, because when you are doing business these days, we've moved from corporate social responsibility to social enterprise and all of that. It's all pointing to the fact that we need us to be humane in the way we do business. So even those who are chasing profits are able to, get some profits and give back part of this profit to humanity, and that's helping a lot to promote commercial ventures. Now, so to the point of the future for Takaful, whether there is a plan for the years ahead and all of that, I do think it ties in with the overall plan of the industry, which is strategically driven by the National Insurance Commission. And I know that having gone through their 3-year strategic plan, I do see a lot of opportunities for Takaful, a lot of opportunities for microinsurance and all of that. So all we have to do now is do the job of, making it available, making it, accessible. Let people be able to, hear about it, read about it, feel it, because like I said, insurance is something that happens to us every day, but somehow we have chosen to do it ourselves. We are choosing to allow our aunties and uncles be our insurers, which is fine, but you find out that it's not sustainable. So here is an opportunity for us to do more, and that's what Takaful presents. Thanks.
Thank you indeed, Mr. Ekerete. I think through this discussion, you've actually also addressed the third question by Aminu, and that should serve it. We have a hand up right now from Mr. Habib. Shall I invite Mr. Habib to go ahead, unmute himself, and share his thought in the issue? Mr. Habib. Okay, for some reason, Mr. Habib cannot speak. However, we just proceed to the next question on point, and that is coming from Dolahan Olugemi, and I shall proceed to read the question. He said, first, okay, he laid a background to that. He said, I'm a Christian, and this session has been very educative. Okay, thank you, Mr. Dolahan. Given that the Insurance Act mandates at least third party for every vehicle owner, is there an equivalent third party insurance in Takaful? This is his first question. Secondly, he asked, is there also a health insurance equivalent in Takaful? And then he proceeded and said, if yes, if there is, what happens if the risk outweighs the amount contributed by the subscribers? And lastly, he asked, will subscribers be required to contribute more to help each other? This is a mouthful amount of question, which I believe any member of the panelists can do justice to, and I'll just leave it open. If by preference, I may invite Mrs. Thaibat to address it, or Mr. Joof, or even perhaps Mr. Ekerete. However, it's up to you all. Yes, please proceed. However you do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bola. Actually, Takaful equally like normal insurance fund, and equally as part of the requirement, the regulator mandates Takaful operator to equally have a Takaful in place in case of any catastrophe. This is just like the example you gave. In case, let's assume the risk is so much, while the payout outweigh what that person has paid. That is the essence, because we put funds, relation of funds, payment of there is equally a Takaful that can come to the aid of such a Takaful operator. Normally, there's what we call retention limit. That is the amount or the muscle that such a Takaful operator has to absorb risk. So that retention limit is what is going to take as its own exposure, while the remaining or the balance will be seeded out to every Takaful. So in case of any catastrophe, he will pay only his own fee. Maybe it's just 20% that is going to keep within the Takaful company, while the 80 will be seeded out to every Takaful. So that we give the Takaful organization to have limited exposure, because or else a single catastrophe can wipe up the whole fund that have been kept in the pool. That is one. And also, we always share responsibility, because if I take up, let's assume 100%, a particular risk, I share it with other operators. That's why there's no competitor for me in Takaful or even in insurance. What we have is collaboration. So when I take up a particular risk, I don't absorb it 100%. I share it with other Takaful operators so that we can all be in the same pool. And if there's any claim, we share the claim. So that enables us to flourish better than just say, only me, I'm going to absorb 100%. It can crucify such a Takaful company. So that is how it is done to ensure that we continue to be a going concern. While the second part of the question, I didn't get that very well. I don't know if you can just shed more light to that.
Sure. The participant, Mr. Dollahan, is actually asking if there's a health insurance equivalent in Takaful, and if yes, what happens if the risk outweighs the amount contributed? And will subscribers be required to contribute more to help each other?
Yes.
Okay. Currently in Nigeria, although there is, if you are talking about globally, but in Nigeria is something that Takaful operators are equally looking at. But I don't think there's any Takaful operator in Nigeria that had that particular type of insurance cover or Takaful cover. But it's something we are looking at, just like some of the Takaful operators have started with Agri. So we are equally looking at that. But in case of any catastrophe, just like I mentioned, there's going to be a Takaful for such a business. So that will enable the Takaful operator to pay such a claim. And I know for medical, there's equally limit that of exposure. Maybe it's going to be 70%, which will have been agreed, and the type of cover, because it's not going to be, I don't think any medical can be 100%. There's some ailments that are coverable, some that are not coverable, some that you have to add some other payment. So all in all, no matter what, if there's any catastrophe, that's the essence of the Takaful, is to cushion any risk that you have taken that is beyond your retention limit.
Okay.
Yeah, Joof.
Yeah,
yes, Mr. Joof. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah. Brother Mustapha, I can also share a little bit on that. That is medical insurance. Fortunately for me, I worked for conventional insurance for 14 years, and local medical insurance was designed personally by me for the Gambian market. And I went training insurance companies who followed my establishment of medical. When I got to Takaful also, we are doing medical, and right now my medical department is actually underwriting very big accounts like Roots in Gambia. You can Google to see. Medical is a product that we say you go out to have a memorandum of understanding with your local medical institutions, so that when you give medical participants an ID card, they present this to medical institutions and services are rendered and the bills are collectively sent to your Takaful operation monthly, so you pay out. And the good thing about medical Takaful is that when a member is suffering from an acute condition which cannot be handled locally, the medical scheme has the capacity to evacuate you to the nearest country that can handle your condition. And the fact that when, as an employer, you put your employee on medical, no finger is pointing at you again to say you're giving more attention to the CEO than the cleaner who also needed medical attention. They are all exposed to the 25 or 30 medical service providers that you have signed an MOU with. So they are free to go to any service provider, present their membership card, and they're taken care of, and we pay the bills. Sister Thaibat talks about limits. Yes, we are giving support by Africa Re and WICA Re, just like on other products. And this, we have retained 40% of the risk and 60% to them. So that when there is a loss, that's the ratio again. We are paying on a monthly basis 100% to institutions, but on quarterly, we send them reports that shows how much liability is on them. I continue to be proud of Nigeria, having practiced there, and I say this idea that Sister Thaibat is saying is more well developed in Nigeria. You may underrate what you are doing, but you're doing very good. This risk sharing through the Insurance Association and NAICOM, you are seeing companies participating in government risk. So the retention is being spread among companies locally more than you will see elsewhere. It's not that much developed in Zambia. It is not at all in Gambia. You're giving 100% to reinsurance overseas. You are draining the economy of your country. Then you should collaborate, not compete at all. You have a risk. Your capacity is 30%. Take that. They take also 40%. So by the time you exhaust the capacity of the risk within your industry, you're retaining more money, or you're retaining more for the economy than when you say you just want to do with your individual reinsurers or your individual Takaful. Call upon you to say, because your portfolio is running at a loss, you have to be called upon to pay more. No, we only check you once, and if it is a loss, is a loss to the pool and not to you. We don't call on you again to come and pay, but it's only that for your loss experience or exposure, we may charge a higher rate at renewal. That's it. Assalamu alaikum.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I believe Mr. Dolahan will be satisfied with this response. Mr. Dolahan, just to reiterate, yeah, a loss to the pool is a loss to everyone, not necessarily your loss, because this time, remember, Takaful, it's predicated upon the spirit of brotherhood. We help each other. So that pretty much addresses your question. Thank you, Haja Thaibat, and thank you, Mr. Momodou Joof. Now, very quickly, I'd like to revert back to Haja Thaibat, because this question actually goes straight to her. She is the one discussing about Islamic finance literacy and Takaful industry. And a question from Latif Adekunle reads, to what extent are the pioneers of Takaful and other Islamic finance product experts incorporating the schemes in our institutions of learning curriculum?
Thank you very much, Brother Latif. Actually, I know education is key. And just like I mentioned, we need to start embedding that. I know in Unilag, we had series of, though it's not part of the curriculum, we always partake in their program. The same thing goes with some law units and law department in Lagos State University, so and many other institutions like that. So whenever they organize their forum, we are always there to tutor them. But like I always say, what we have done, we have some other institutes that have that, but we are still using there's a platform which we call non-interest financial institution platform, where we have discussed on how to build that into curriculum from school, because we believe the lack of knowledge is still affecting the growth of Takaful. Getting adequate people to work in most of the Takaful company is still a very big challenge. But if it's part of the curriculum from the higher institution, even it can be a subject. I remember when we were younger, there's marketing as a subject, and it's really helped as we grow along. So it's something that we believe can be done, but we are working with, as a group, to ensure we imbibe this as part of the curriculum. But currently, it's yet to be finalized. But we are working vigorously. Of that financial institution, it was tough. When we started, there was nowhere to plug the fund. So, and gradually we are growing now. So we are going equally to our institution and ensure we imbibe that as part of it. Just like we have principle and practice of banking. So I believe it's long overdue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Thaibat. And just in the interest of time, we may not be able to address all questions on this session, but we'll keep noting them down, get the response, and perhaps the host can do us that good of forwarding the responses to all audience. In that light, we still have we'll take a few more before we go. And there's a question also from the same Latif Adekule, who is asking about how profit is shared in Takaful. I believe that has been discussed alongside other questions or response to other questions. But the second question, where he asks, can we have an idea of how much a vehicle insurance costs in Takaful? This person just needs an idea, perhaps a bullet response would serve the purpose.
Okay. Okay, Joof, you can go ahead, please.
Okay. No, I mean, it's like what we are saying is Takaful is insurance, minus the objectionable. Otherwise, everything else is the same. We are using that tariff, that rate that if we charge you, you go to conventional, it will be the same. But it may be the same, most likely, very closely. But the key point in our own thing is that for conventional, you give them the money, is there. They owe you no explanation where they invest or what profit they make at the end of the year. But for us, you are paying a contribution. You're not paying a premium. So that's why you are part and parcel of the management of the scheme to its profitability. And then we owe it to you to give you reports on what we have done and what is your entitlement. So if you're saying comprehensive vehicle, you're thinking from 3% to 5%. And this is across the market. It depends, it's a free market where it's competitive. You may get a slight difference by way of discount, but the basics principle of rates are the same. So that is not where we are competing. We are not competing on cost, but rather we are competing on service, fairness, and ethics. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, I think I'm really in support of what Joof have just presented, because if we are talking about rating, we need to know, it's just like if it's, let's assume 3% and you pay 10,000, and it's 5%, you pay 12,000. At the end of the day, if surplus is going to be shared, what you are going to earn as a 10% person will be lesser than somebody who pays 12,000. So eventually you lose nothing. And since we are going to enjoy the same benefit, I believe it is not the competition on rating that matters, but the kind of service each and everybody is ready to provide, or maybe added value like advice on financial issues and how you can change your position to the next level, which is the higher level. So those are some of the added advantage I believe we need to start looking at. Not everything should just be up against rate. Thank you, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. So in essence, the focus shouldn't be on the cost or the pricing. It should rather be on the value proposition. Thank you so much, Haja Thaibat. And here is a quick question in addition to that by Muhammad Mashood. Brother Muhammad Mashood is asking, and I read, though the panelists want to please emphatically highlight Takaful areas of coverage. He gave examples. He said health, life, general needs, etc. Would you like to take that?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. Like we have in conventional, we have just two types of Takaful. is either family takaful or general takaful. But under each of these, we have some products. Some are off the shelf, that's like third party, it's like standard cover, comprehensive standard cover, but there are some that you specifically requested for that can either be built into a bundled product that will meet A, B, C purpose. So that is for family. And equally that is for family. But general business, like the demand we are getting now, can we mix the two together? And I know I'm paying on gradual basis. It's equally allowed because the regulator allowed to grant cover based on the amount. It's just like pay as you go. So it is when you have your cover for 3 months, you know you have to pay the next quarter before the expiration of the first quarter. So for me, I believe you can gain a lot if you work your financial system and get the best advice from the operator so that you know the product that can suit you and you'll be able to pay, because the ability to pay is key. So all that are what is being done to ensure that our customers get the best that will suit their needs. Thank you, Samari Panto.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much. And quickly to the next question. And this one really, it's sort of a thing you say for the last. It's coming from Mr. Muhammad Adisa. And this question seems as though it's one posed by an erudite scholar. 3 blocks of questions, and I read. How prepared are the operators to act in line with the Takaful operation theories, among which is to promote brotherhood and create wealth in line with the maqasid of Sharia, that is economic benefit and social justice? That is the first block. The second block, he says, since, and this is directed at regulators, since this is a market, referring to Takaful and other Islamic finance services, that is just upcoming, how prepared are the regulators to check the excesses of operators, most especially to operate by rules of Takaful and not to start competing with conventional insurance companies? That's the second block in his question. And the last block is, he says, this is a sort of advice to both operators and regulators that their actions and inactions would showcase the beauty of Islam, promote the growth of this venture, and also earn them reward from Almighty Allah. May Allah guide us all aright, Ameen. So the last part is more, as he said, of an advice to both regulators and operators. However, he has posed 2 questions, the first one directed strictly at the operators and the second at the regulators. It's obvious, please proceed.
I think Mr. Latif Adekunle.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, I think we'll take that of Mr. Latif later. However, shall we get response to these 2 questions first?
All right.
And Mr. Ekerete, I hope you're around. We'll be turning to you shortly.
Okay. On how prepared are we? I will say as operators, we are long prepared because if you observe from the presentation, we walked the talk. We've been saying we are going to distribute surplus, and we've been doing that. Not only surplus distribution, we've been partaking in a lot of social support, which is on record. And I remember there was a particular sadaqah distribution we did, and we have both old, young, I would say the needy, in short, that benefited from it. And some people, they were shocked, and they were just full of prayer. So these are some of the things. It's just like the payback to the whether you are the insured or not. It's a welfare package to ensure that everybody is happy. So we do that often, and I know other operators too do that. I believe if we continue with that, it's going to help us a lot so that people will have confidence in Takaful. And okay, the other question is for the regulator, so I don't think I need to to respond to that. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam warahmatullah. I wish we still had Mr. Zubairu here to button on the question pertaining to the regulators. However, I also align with you, Hadia Thaibat, with regards to the question to operators. Just on the regulators, perhaps would invite Mr. Ekerete to share his thought on the readiness of the regulators of being a consultant. So he's neither a player nor is he a regulator. So we have an umpire there to button on this issue. Right on time, you're on.
Dr. Mustapha, don't put me on the spot. Someday, you never know, I may become an operator.
Until then, my brother. Until then.
All right, then. So I think Mohammed has raised a very important issue, because when you look at the current system in terms of regulation, you know, we've got a lot of challenges because, like I said in my presentation, we're meant to be responsible and responsive. However, with human beings, you know, you find people who choose not to be responsible and responsive. So what he's basically saying is what is in place to ensure that when people choose to do it differently, you know, they are dealt with. And that should be in place even before it happens. In my work, I have tried to check, are there frauds in Takaful elsewhere? The answer is yes. So we shouldn't play in that self-denial space and believe that we are doing all that is right and it will not happen. You can speak for yourself, you cannot speak for the other operator. Today we have 4 companies and one that has been given a window to operate Takaful. You know, it's just the beginning, and these are early days. Now, so we need to have something in place. One of the things I know we have in place is the Takaful regulatory body in NAICOM, which is distinct from the NAICOM itself by way of the way they look at Takaful. So I expect, and I'm saying that carefully, I expect that this body will constantly watch and be sure that nothing goes wrong. Because when the market is calm and sweet and nice, somebody will just wake up and decide that it shouldn't be that way. So that's basically what Mohammed is saying, and I think we should not run away from it. We should rather, you know, answer the question of how prepared are we, and we should be prepared because they will come. Thanks.
Sure. Truly. Thank you so much, Mr. Ekerete, the umpire in this case. You have indeed placed us on a good spot. Yes, how prepared? We need to be prepared. It's essential to be prepared. In this slide, we have 2 other questions, and perhaps that will be about it for this session before we adjourn for the next series that will be announced by WebTV. I shall invite Mr. Habib Olayola to go ahead and echo his sentiment to raise these issues with the panelists. Mr. Habib.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and the rest of the panelists in the house today. My questions are based on my own perception. I've always been a conventional person, but with a lot of interest in Takaful. So, I wanted to ask Ajia directly. Do you have some conventional? Do you still sell conventional insurance? And can you share some strategies on how some of us who sell conventional products can also switch some of our clients to Takaful product? That's the first question. Secondly, I wanted to know the capacity side of the business, the reinsurance, reinsurance of Takaful. Takaful businesses, basically. You know, how do we manage it here? Can we share some Takaful, facultative Takaful businesses or co-insurance Takaful businesses with conventional, the guys, the operators in the conventional space? I mean, what does the law say, and how would it not be against the tenets of Islam? And thirdly, can we also what are the major basic products that are sellable? I've sold a few Takaful, so but for some of us who are just coming up, where can we start from? Just a little bit of much more enlightenment in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Habib. I appreciate this your question. I will just take them one after the other. The first question says, do I have experience on conventional, and do I sell conventional products? I will tell you, I came from a conventional company. In as much as I don't like telling stories, I joined conventional insurance, which happened to be African Alliance, and I went in because of my discipline to work in finance, nothing more. But eventually, when Takaful has to commence, I was one of the selected few that was asked to read through the guiding principles, the Sharia, and all other things to start on Takaful. And I was eventually lucky because I have worked in almost all the units in African Alliance, both including audits. But I sell conventional insurance. And it was the knowledge that I have in conventional insurance that enabled me to stabilize quickly with Takaful. Because if you don't have the principle of conventional, it might be very challenging to understand where you needed to dot the E's and cross the I, and cross the T's. So I did have that. And I spent almost about, if not up to 8 years in different units in conventional business. There's so many products in conventional business, in as much as we know the principle differ. And like Takaful now, we equally have family business, which conventional life sometimes name differ, and how it works equally differ. While on capacity of reinsurance, this was really, really challenging when we started, because even there was no existing figures for the Takaful, not to talk of the actuaries to build our product on. But with the little knowledge, both on financial and investment, we were able to build something, to put something together to guide the reinsurance team. And that was how we were able to get some reinsurance, some reinsurance within that have affiliated outside the country, like African Re and Continental Re. So we clicked behind those and we are able to get our approval. But whether we can share businesses with conventional, I will say yes and no. Because like I remember we had a challenge, I think maybe about 2 or 3 years back, where we happened to deal with a group of other conventional companies running after a business. But what we were advised is, if we want to take up the business, if we are the lead, we can now co-insure with others. But we can not, as Takaful operator, click behind the conventional, because the principle bringing the business is already conventional. But if we are the lead, the principle they are going to adopt will be the principle of Takaful. And that is how we've been managing ourselves, pushing facultative businesses to other conventional where the need arises. Because the few Takaful operators that we have on ground, sometimes it's like, no, we don't want that type of business. We don't want this. So we have no option than to move to conventional insurance. So we'll be managing that situation in that way. Then the third question, we say, can we have some products? Yeah, there's a lot of products. But how we advise what we need to do, depending on your customer. So the first thing we did when we started is we first of all targeted the Muslims. But unfortunately, Muslims then, most of them, I would say almost 70% have resistance. So we now left them and we commenced. There was a particular time we needed to make presentations. It was like, where did you see it? In the Quran, you know, a new thing people we want to resist. But a non-Muslim now said, please, let's hear them out. And we were able to make a very beautiful presentation. And the non-Muslim started, even the first to take up the plan. So the Muslim gradually we started penetrating. When we started, we don't even have customers in the north. Our main customer were in the south, which is Port Harcourt. So it was like, are you sure? I said, yeah, extremely sure. And we had the best businesses from the east. But now, if I tell you, the northern zone is ahead of the east now. So we are getting more business from the north because for Muslims, we want to understand, are you sure this product is really in line with the ethics of the religion? Now, when they are getting more convinced, a lot of them are now imbibing Takaful. So that is it. So it's something that can be done and you can commence gradually and be able to have. But one thing I want to advise, first of all, ensure you have knowledge of every product you intend to push to your customer. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Quite a bit of history and background there, and I do believe Mr. Habib is satisfied with the restaurant from Haja. We also have another person who also wants to weigh in with this question, Mr. Latif Adekunle. Please go ahead very quickly and just bear in mind time constraint. Mr. Latif Adekunle. Okay, in his absence, we shall proceed to wrap up the session. But then, shall I invite all panelists to turn on their camera so we have a screen shot?
Dr. Mustapha.
Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Switch on to their video. We need to take a picture, a good photograph.
Okay, just before then, it seems Mr. Latif Adekunle is back on. Mr. Latif, please go ahead very quickly.
I'm back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Now, alhamdulillah, just like what the Aja has spoken concerning knowledge. So that is the area I want to please emphasize for the organizer and the panelists, as well as all the participants. It is very, very important that we channel this discussion to the grassroots. You know, I work in a place that about children and adults, particularly the secondary school students. It is incorporated in their syllabus. They now take insurance as one of the subjects in the secondary school exam. So this has to be incorporated as well. Besides, on Jumat lectures, on Ramadan lectures, and other special occasions, it is high time we now encourage our scholars to be emphasizing topics like this in their discussions, with a view to improving the awareness of Islamic financial products and services. So may Allah assist us and promote his ideas. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Latif Adekunle. Your contribution is indeed patent and very relevant. And I'm assured, really, I'm very confident that the operators and the regulatory authorities, those who and whoever in the class of stakeholders that would have access to this discussion would agree with you and also take necessary action. We pray to see the fruits in the near future. Thank you once again.
Inshallah, alhamdulillah.
So right now we are moving on to our sponsor's presentation. So I would like to invite our first sponsor, National Fatih Society of Nigeria, NASFAT, represented by Mrs. Bola Kupulati, to give a short presentation. We have Mrs. Bola here. Mrs. Bola, okay. I yield the floor to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I quickly want to appreciate all the great speakers. I have learned so much today, and I'm glad to be with you. I'm so thrilled with the Ajia too, with her presentation. She seems to be the only female amongst the men. May Allah continue to bless you and make things easy for every one of you. Like has been said, awareness on this is very important. And we have had these different ways that this awareness can be done through the children in school, coming to the Jumat surveys, having all the opportunity that we have to allow the scholars to speak on this. Thank you very much. On behalf of the leadership of NASFAT Society, I would like to thank you so much for this opportunity to be here today. NASFAT, which is one of the Islamic societies that we have in Nigeria, has about 360 branches across Nigeria and also outside Nigeria, within and outside Nigeria. And we are into several activities. One of the activities for women is coming up next month, inshallah, and it is the 22nd Annual Women's Week celebration. It's going to start on the 3rd and end on the 10th of October, inshallah. Women's Week celebration is an annual event organized by NASFAT Women Management Committee. The Women's Week is to promote the mission statement of the society by actively engaging in the development of human capital, promoting Islamic values in family and community development. And thus we also contribute to the nation building as well. Besides this, we also attract and patronage with the attendance of wives of states, governors, deputy governors, honorable ministers, senior political office holders, and also scholars. And also we also drive fundraising campaign for NASFAT Women Project. For this year, the women is looking at focusing our attention on how do we ensure lasting solutions to the rising wave of different forms of insecurity in our society, which has become a major threat to life and property and a source of serious concern for everyone. On this, we're focusing on ending insecurity and sustaining peace, strategies and resources for the Muslim women, inshallah. We also use the occasion to drive our fundraising campaign with a target of 100 million towards building an international standard hospital for mother and child care, inshallah. The NASFAT Mother and Child Hospital is a one-stop family hospital providing outstanding healthcare services for every member of the family. The Mother and Child Hospital will go a long way to provide maternity and child care health indices, as well as further help to achieve universal and comprehensive healthcare coverage in the country. The aim of establishing the health facility is to support the parity agenda for the National Executive Council of NASFAT at the moment. There are 4 key areas that they're looking at: health, education, livelihood, and dawah. So inshallah, this invitation today would has provided us a platform to inform the public about the upcoming NASFAT 22nd Annual Women's Week celebration and to seek for non-interest finance from investors that are passionate in providing good healthcare services to Nigerians. We understand that there are lots of funds out there that are Sharia compliance and waiting for investment. I would like to solicit to the funds owners to please support the NASFAT Mother and Child Hospital, inshallah. Having listened to all of this today, we're glad that there are opportunities for what's available out there that we can tap to finance this NASFAT Mother and Child Hospital. Once again, I thank you so much for inviting us. I also call the attention of the audience to the Nasfat Mosque that is being developed at the permanent site of Nasfat Islamic Center. It's a mosque that will take over 10,000 worshippers at a time. We're asking support from the public, from Muslims, Sharia compliance funds towards the completion of this mosque, inshallah. The bank account is being put on the screen. May Allah accept it from everyone that donates towards this. May Allah reward you. I thank you so much once again, WebTV, for the invitation to be with you today. We're glad to be partnering with you. Thank you so much. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Mrs. Bola. I'll also use this medium to invite our second sponsor for this webinar, Hilal Takaful, represented by none other than Mr. Tajuddin Olushesi. He's going to take us through Hilal Takaful products. Mr. Tajuddin.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, and assalamu alaikum to you all. First and foremost, let me quickly appreciate the organizer of the program and also all the panelists, specifically the two women of NAICOM on the call, Thaibat Adeniran and Hajia Kupolati. I appreciate you. Why do I need to do this? Is because I love women because of two reasons. One, my mother is a woman. Also, I have a wife that's a woman, so I need to appreciate you. Thank you for flagging the flag of Islam. May Allah continue to strengthen you. Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd is an organization that identifies the needs of Muslims, because Muslim faithfuls all over the world have special needs when it comes to insurance services, and these needs can only be fulfilled by Takaful Insurance. Some of those needs are emphasized in the glorious Quran. For instance, if you look at Quran chapter 59, verse 18, Allah emphasized the need for you to make provision for the future. Also, if you look at the Quran chapter 5, verse 2, Allah also emphasized the need for you to help one another on righteousness and piety. Also, if you look at Quran chapter 4, Allah emphasized the need for you to obey the regulatory authority, the government of your country. All these bases are the bases that we use to develop our products in Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd. For instance, if you are planning to make provision for the future, we have got you covered with our education Takaful plan. How do you do this? You contribute on monthly basis, minimum of 5,000 naira. In this, your contribution, we have had an element of investment that you collect back at the end of the stated period for your contribution. We also have an element of tabaru donation to help anybody within the plan that has any challenges as a result of death. You can help it to continue funding the education of such individual's child. We also have Takaful investment plan for you to help you protect, secure the future, make provision for your dream business. For instance, you have a plan that you need like 600,000 to commence a business within a year. You can pick up our Takaful investment plan with 50,000 contribution on monthly basis. At the end of the year, you have your 600,000 naira. You can also extend it for 2 years, for 3 years, or more than that. And all of these plans has an element of donation tabaru that will guarantee a compensation to a family if there's any loss of life during the contribution. And of course, to protect your religious obligation too, we have a plan that covers your Hajj and Umrah. This, you can embark on this. And of course, to protect the young ones who are planning to get married and you want to continue saving for your marriage, we have marriage Takaful plan for you. And of course, for you to help one another, our general Takaful products like the vehicle plan, the motor vehicle plan, the asset protection plan, and the fire and burglary will help you to fulfill your religious obligations of helping others. For instance, we have people who have started a small-scale business. If you have a small scale business and you pick up our fire and burglary plan, what this is going to do for you is to ensure that if eventuality comes, maybe there's fire or there's theft of your product, of anything that you have in your building, you will have money back, and that will not keep you out of business. These are what Hilal Takaful has put together to help you solve many problems. And of course, for organizations like NASFAT, like Islamic organization, and any other well-established organization, you can pick up a group family Takaful scheme for your members. For instance, if you have a plan that if any of your members died, you are going to compensate the family of such member with a minimum of 500,000. All you need to do on that, all you need to pay as contribution on that individual member is just 3,000 naira. And if you are planning that if this individual died, eventually, maybe in a service to our organization, be it NASFA, be it TMC, be it Kori, be it Ansarudin, we want to give such individual, we want to give the family of such individual 1 million. All you need to do is to pay 6,000 naira as a contribution annual basis. These are simple methods that Takaful has put together to ensure that Muslims will help one another, as emphasized in Quran chapter 5, verse 2. And of course, to obey regulatory authority. We all know that in Nigeria, you cannot put your vehicle on the road without having insurance. So Takaful third-party insurance has cover you in the minimum with 5,000 naira, 7,500 or more, as the case may be, because we have different prices for different categories of vehicle. For a private motor vehicle, 5,000, you get your third-party insurance, and of course, you also get your comprehensive Takaful insurance. All these are what we have, and many more that time will not permit us to emphasize here. Let me tell you that Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd has over 25 products, both family and general, that are designed for the benefit of the Muslim populace and non-Muslims alike that would like to partake in the Takaful products. And let me tell you that Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd is one of the Takaful organization that you need to patronize. Why? Because we are a member of a group called Cornerstone Insurance Group. Cornerstone Insurance Group have been in the business for over 3 decades, and they have a lot of experience who are managing it. We also have our own Hilal Takaful Nigeria Ltd as as the first composite Takaful insurance company in Nigeria, run by our able mother, Mama Takaful, Thaibat Adeniran. May Allah continue to preserve him for the service of the humanity. So the experience is there to underwrite whatever you have gained. The reason why you need to, for any of this that you want to get from us, you don't need to come to our office. You don't need to come to our office. All you need to do is to send an email to enquiries@hilaltakaful.com.ng. Then the next thing for us to do is to assign an officer that will relate with you and get your product certificate delivered to you in a very short time. So all these are advantages that are things that Hilal Takaful Nigeria has put together to be of advantage to the Muslim populace and deliver Takaful insurance product to you within a very short period of time, and of course with little or no physical interaction. On a final note, with Hilal Takaful Insurance Nigeria Ltd, you get adequate compensation when there is claim, while you get share of surplus when there is no claim. Halal return on investment is guaranteed, and of course you get spiritual benefit of helping humanity through the heart of tabaru, donation, to help people. So what are you waiting for? Purchase any of our products today and get the humongous benefits you deserve. So you can contact us on our hotline 0907 682 4451. Once again, 0907 682 4451. The line is on WhatsApp 24/7. You can contact us so that we deliver Takaful insurance products to you within twinkle of an eye. Thank you very much, the organizer, for the opportunity. Thank you, audience and panelists, for listening to this brief presentation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Nasrullah Lifati Society, NASFAT, seeks your support in achieving the long-term goal of building a NASFAT mosque and Islamic center at Asheshi on Lagos Ibadan Express Road, Nigeria. The center will be accessible to thousands of Muslims across the country. The proposed center will have ultra-modern mosque, library, multi-purpose hall, classroom, state-of-the-art ICT center, secured and accessible parking spaces. To donate, please use the following bank accounts. Account name, Nasfat Mosque Development Account. May Allah continue to reach us all as we donate to this project. Jazakumullah khairan.
All right, thanks to NASFAT and Hilal Takaful for sponsoring this webinar. Now it is time for our giveaway. We'll be choosing 2 lucky winners to invest in Takaful products. The products are Takaful Education Plan from Hilal and Premium Policy from Noor Takaful that covers areas like medical. So on the Microsoft form, that has been filled by the participants, so we are going to click now to see the live Excel sheet of all the names of the persons that have filled the form. Thank you very much for filling in your names to be a part of this. So now we are going to choose randomly by using a random selection process on the Excel sheet. Okay, about 16 participants filled the form. We are going to open the Excel sheet to see everyone that participated. So we use a random selection process to match the numbers between 1 to 16. So we have the first person. So we are going to match the random numbers with the name of the people that are here. Okay. So okay. So we have the first person. We have the first person that will receive the giveaway. We have Mr. Badamosi Jimo Adewale. Are you still with us, Mr. Badamosi? Mr. Badamosi? Okay. Congratulations, you've won Hilal Takaful Education Plan product, 5,000 naira. Congratulations to you. So, do we have Mrs. Thaibat? We are going to count down from 3 to 1. Mrs. Thaibat Adeniran. Please unmute.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Walaikum salam. So I would like you to help us count down from 1 to 3 in order to pick the second winner.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Okay. So let's count. 3. Sister Ibat.
Yes, please. 1.
Okay. You need to count down. Okay.
2.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Kosim, okay. Ademola Adebumiti.
Yes.
You've also won the premium policy from Noor Takaful worth 5,000 naira, and this covers areas like medical, amongst others. So we'll reach out to you both after the webinar and how you can access the product. Congratulations to Mr. Badamosi and Mr. Cousin. A big thanks to all our participants and the winners. So as we wrap up this interesting webinar, I would now like to invite the editorial operations manager for WebTV to give the vote of thanks. Mr. Otto, over to you, Mr. Otto.
Thank you very much for a remarkable job today, anchoring this webinar. I appreciate what has been done today. Well, what can I say? This has been another enlightening session on the opportunities that the non-interest finance market provides for the Nigerian economy. Takaful has immense potentials, and I'm optimistic that it will play a significant role in deepening the Nigerian insurance industry. We want to thank the Commissioner for Insurance and Chief Executive Officer of the National Insurance Commission, Mr. Olorundare Sunday Thomas, for accepting to deliver the keynote address. He was ably represented by Mr. Zubairu Sulaiman Darazo, Head Takaful Insurance Unit, who I must say did a very good job of challenging the operators and reassuring the industry of the support of NAICOM to defend the Takaful segment of the market. To Mr. Aminu Tukur, the Vice Chairman, who I've now called the Don of Takaful, Vice Chairman of Noor Takaful, Hajia Thaibat Adeniran, who is the Mama Takaful, the MDC of Hilal Takaful, that's Mr. Momodou Musa Joof. I was meant to say Mr. Momodou Musa Joof, the CEO of West Africa Takaful Limited, who has a new name now as the Encyclopedia of Takaful in Sub-Saharan Africa. We appreciate your rich and insightful presentations as operators who have shared with us a major takeaway of the need to deepen awareness and, of course, the enormous opportunities in Takaful. Also, I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Ekerete Ola Gam-Ikon, an insurance expert and management consultant, who I have given him a nickname as the Apostle for Insurance in Nigeria. He's very passionate about it, committed to the reawakening of insurance deepening in Nigeria, and of course, his message on the need for Takaful to be integrated in the insurance groups in the country. Thank you very much for your presentation. For our sponsors, NASFAT and Hilal Takaful, represented today by Hajia Bola Aduke Kupolati and Mr. Tajuddin Lusesi, we are grateful for your support. Thank you for identifying with this program, because without that support, it wouldn't have been a success. To all our participants and the winners of the giveaway, that's Badamosi Jimo and Kazim Adebola, congratulations, and all those that participated in the giveaway. Thank you once again for staying through the webinar. I must commend you all, because it was really an engaging session and you stayed through. Without you being involved, it wouldn't have been a success. Thank you once again. And I'm really encouraged by the feedbacks I've seen in the chats about the fact that you've learned a lot about Takaful. That was the essence of this webinar, and that's a very good, encouraging feedback. For Dr. Mustapha Ishaq Akinlaso, your coordinator of today's webinar was exceptional as usual, and we thank you for your partnership. This is the second webinar, Islamic Finance Webinar, you're moderating, and we don't take your sacrifice and dedication lightly. I would like to encourage all our participants to follow our website, www.prochange.com, to get updates on the Islamic finance market and Takaful segment. It's a flagship program that gives you all the information and analysis you need to know what's happening in the Islamic finance market. Also join our Islamic Finance Weekly program every Friday by 11 a.m. via www.prochange.com/webtv. You will see also other interesting programs apart from that on WebTV. I want to say thank you once again, and I'm wishing everyone a great part of the remaining part of the day. Thank you very much once again.
Tune in to WebTV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content. Watch WebTV. Same news, different perspective.
Islamic finance has been misunderstood by many to be a religious product aimed at only Muslims. But that is not the case. Since the 2008 global financial crisis, Islamic finance has become an attractive segment of the financial market, promoting sustainable development and economic empowerment. Join me every Friday on the Islamic Finance Weekly at 11 a.m. West African time as we discuss Connect the Globe on Islamic finance and its benefits. It features experts, scholars, analysts, policymakers, and regulators who provide insight on the capital market, banking, personal finance, Islamic insurance, financial literacy, waqf, halal, and all other aspects of finance and the economy. You don't want to miss it.